we're happy to announce a squad that we believe is confident, is prepared for this amazing tournament. But thank you all for coming, and we look forward to some magic moments through this squad that we've selected going forward. Questions, I believe. I'm running the show here. Oh, good. Okay. I like it.
Joe, can you just give us an update on Mary, where she's at since returning a couple of weeks ago? Haven't seen her since in the WSL, and how much of a role you expect her to be able to play in this tournament?
Yeah, it was important that we managed with obviously Manchester City her return, and it was actually a really structured and an important return. We actually probably had her fit at about 9 months returning, but she was great and said she'd like a little bit more time coming back. But she's been training with the squad now for a couple of months, and playing some minutes, and she's ready to go, and she's in good shape.
Is there any reason why she hasn't played the past couple of weeks, do you know, or is she okay?
I think it was an organised sort of load management, just sort of giving her the minutes that they believe is right for now, and all the reports I'm getting out of City is that we're preparing her for the Asian Cup, so they've been great.
Just on that, any minutes restrictions when she's available for the Matildas, or will she be fully ready to go?
She's been training fully, and all we're going to do is assess each game and see which is the best lineup to tackle each game. And Mary could feature from the start. Mary could come in the last 20 minutes. We'll just assess each game as it goes.
Joe, there's been some interesting and almost unusual selections in this squad, particularly players who haven't been part of camps since you've been in charge. Can you take us into the principles of the decision-making, particularly around those players who were on the edge of selection?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a tough decision. It's always an interesting sort of process leading up into it. But we had a cut-off time to get the squad announced, or the squad into AFC and FIFA. So the biggest thing for me was to make sure that the nature of the tournament, it being such a short tournament and quick turnaround, is that we had players who were consistently playing and ready to play. We weren't in a position to bring players in that were sort of coming back from injury or coming back from situations where we had to modify them through the camp. We just didn't have that opportunity. But the beauty of it, and the biggest thing for me, was to find good balance in the squad, good balance that each scenario is adhered to, meaning that if we get a situation where we lose a player early or we go a goal down, we've got the opportunity to make those impacts. So we needed players ready, we needed players prepared, and we needed players who could make the impact in those situations.
Hey Joe, you just mentioned balance. I'm just interested in, just from your point of view, like the makeup of the squad. What is it about this squad that will take you all the way through the tournament? And you talked about some of those scenarios there. Does that mean that you're looking at like sort of a more heavy rotation than what maybe we've seen in the past?
A tournament of this nature, and we've seen many tournaments, whether it's the Men's World Cup, Women's World Cup, it brings up a lot of surprises. So we need to, it's not a situation of a league where you can sort of plan and rotate accordingly. It's very, very important that we're prepared for quick turnarounds. I mean, we've got a bit of travel also. We go from Perth to Gold Coast, so that all of a sudden has its difficulties and challenges. But the biggest thing for me was to make sure that we covered all scenarios. So if we needed to change system, if we needed to change structure, we could do that quickly. And look, we've done a lot of work even in the background with staff in terms of being prepared, in terms of for a lot of scenarios. So the squad, we believe is strategic, is prepared for all those scenarios that tournament football can bring.
Joe, two players from our local league here, the A-League Women's, Holly Mack and Michelle Heyman. What qualities did they bring to this squad, and why were they selected?
Oh, look, Michelle scores goals. So, you're gonna have minimal opportunities in these games, and she's one that has the impact and has the opportunity to finish the action, which is really, really important. And look, I think we've all seen Holly Mack sort of, and how important she's been in the A-League, but also the impact she's made coming in with the national team. So, she's one that can play in probably all three areas in the top third. So to have that ability to put her on as a central striker or a wide player or one coming from deeper is really, really important, and that just sort of goes into the idea of the balance of the squad and looking at all scenarios to make sure that we're sorted.
Were there any other players from our local league that were unlucky to miss out, perhaps?
You're amazing, because I forgot to mention that, and you've done well to ask that question. The biggest I suppose project or scenario that we've done, and the assistant coaches can confirm this, that we've done a lot of work in the A-League over the last 6 months, scouting, looking, finding scenarios, and there were probably, I'd say, 4 players that were very, very close to making this squad that were probably not identified in the build-up, but have done well in the A-League, and we believe that the future is in a good space with this, because there's a lot of talent. We just now need to expose it to that international competition.
Sorry to hog the mic if anyone needs to. What is your message to kind of the, let's say, more casual fans who fell in love with the Matildas in 2023, who maybe aren't following the game day by day, but probably will dip back into the Matildas? What's your message to sort of them about this squad and how this team might be potentially different?
Well, we love our events here, so I assume a lot of the supporter base will come out, because it is a tournament that on the world scale. But my remit and the way I approach the game is always to play a brand of football that excites, to play a brand of football that's going to be proactive. And one of the things that's important to me, and I think important to the brand, is that we play a brand that's is going to put in a good showcase. So come out and watch a Matildas game and you'll be entertained.
Hi Joe, how excited are you for the captain Sam Kerr? How excited is she? She was injured during the World Cup here, but still scored a magical goal. Is she back to her absolute best, and do you expect her to be doing flips around the country, scoring goals?
I'll leave that to Sam, and I hope she does a lot of backflips. That means she'll be scoring a lot of goals, so which is good. But she's, there's something that just in Sam's voice, and just speaking to her on Zoom calls and so on, that just excites me about the fact that she's really, really excited to come here. She's really, really excited to put that jersey on, and really excited to I think give the public a real showcase of how we're going to play. She's there's a buzz in the air when you speak to her, and it's really exciting. So she's really happy to be coming back and performing on this amazing stage.
A lot of talk about Sam and Mary and the stars that everyone knows, but also there's a group of 8 players that are playing their first Asian Cup, but they're all coming through in really good form, playing a lot of minutes. Can you tell us about that group and their runway to selection? And
Doesn't want to stay. I'm listening.
And do you feel like you've got the depth?
I am listening.
Multitasking. The depth here that is almost improved on recent times, with this cohort coming in that are making their debuts, ready to go?
It's like the way I want to play football. I don't want to give the ball away. So it's coming to me all the time. That's the most exciting part of this group, that we were able to identify some talent that is playing at a good level overseas, that will really, really bring the ideas that we're trying to bring forward in terms of the type of football we're trying to play. So for me, I think if you look at the squad, to have the amount of players making their first appearance in tournaments, but also now stabilising a future for us going forward, I think is really, really important. They're top talents. They're playing at good clubs. They're coming in with great form. Winnie Heatley, playing at Roma. Just to mention one of the 8, 7 or 8 that are playing at the highest level. That's really exciting, and that's sort of now can give us that stability going forward, to give them the opportunity at a big tournament to take it into bigger tournaments.
And they're coming in with that form. Would you say that they're not just coming in as squad depth, but that these are players that are potentially challenging for your first 11 as well?
Yeah, just to go back to the question before, there will be a little bit of rotation that we're going to have to do. I mean, just the nature of the turnover of games. So no one's coming in as squad depth. Everyone's coming in for a reason and will be called upon. there will be situations where players will get minimal minutes, but we know that they're going to be important even from a training stimulus and also from a group stimulus.
And just one player that wasn't in that group of 8 but hadn't been picked since, I think, July, Alex Chidiac, but's obviously made a big run of form as well to get into the squad. Can you tell us what impressed you about her that forced her way into the squad?
Yeah, Alex came in June in my first camp, and then there was a bit of an injury cloud and didn't get the minutes that we felt. She didn't come back early enough, but we know Alex's talent. We know her talent, and she's a player that at the moment at Cornwall she's probably performing at some of the best levels that I've seen her in many years. So she's on a good sort of on a good trajectory to come into this squad and really give us something that's important. She's talented, and the way we want to play, she suits our style.
Joe, you like to move the ball through the midfield a lot. It's very much the key engine of your philosophy, but you've only selected 6 designated midfielders in the squad compared to 9 forwards and 8 defenders. Are you concerned there might be a little bit of thinness, or are you maybe someone like a Mary Fowler maybe expecting her to be able to drop back into midfield to sort of boost those numbers?
Has the squad been put in defenders, midfielders, and attackers? Oh,
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a modern football. We've got a Winnie Heatley that can play in midfield. I've got an Amy Sayer that can play in midfield. I've got an Alana Kennedy that obviously can play at the back end in midfield. I would never pick a team that stabilises itself in the structure. As I said, I know everyone likes a nice 4-3-3 or a 4-2-4. They like those beautiful lines and everything. You should know me by now. My football's all over the place and it's fluid, and we adapt to the situation. But that's what excites me about the squad. We have adaptability. We have players that can, play in multiple positions, and I'll let you choose whether the 6 thin midfielders is enough or not.
And then the second question I've got is, you look at this squad, it's probably one of the best squads that you could have selected on paper. Obviously, the games are played on grass, but again, on paper, it seems like your collision course with Japan in the semi-finals. How confident are you that this side can beat Japan, given that 12 months ago under your predecessor, it was a 4-0, quite comprehensive loss at the She Believes Cup?
Look, there's a lot of confidence in the team. And there's a lot of belief in this team, and I think putting the football aside, I think it's a matter of building into the tournament and making sure that we're prepared for the scenario of where Japan is at the time, if we meet them in the quarterfinals or whoever we meet. So each scenario has to be given its merit. You can't sort of say that you don't know where we're going to be at that in that point. I think the biggest thing in tournament football is to not take anything for granted. Match 1 is going to be so difficult. And if it all goes well, then sometimes you sort of take a little bit of the foot off the pedal for match 2. You think, okay, well, match 2 we've got match, and then you don't get the result you want, and then you're scrambling in game 3. So again, each situation and each team has to be assessed from a position of humility and a position of understanding, and more importantly, in understanding what scenario is in front of us.
Yeah, just talking about Japan and other teams, I'm just interested in your take, I guess, on how your preparation has been compared to some of the other teams that are in the tournament. Like, there's talk of China's had this very long camp altogether, but, Ante Milicic has said that their players who aren't playing, they don't have as many playing at that top level as what the Matildas do. Are you comfortable with the preparation in comparison to some of those other teams?
No, we knew the preparation when I got appointed. We knew the preparation was going to be what it was, and we had to make the most of it from that perspective. It's one of those. It's sort of do you bring the team in camp 40 days before or 20 days before, which we weren't able to do anyway because all our players are playing overseas and FIFA regulates that. And they probably get sick of me after 3 days listening to my voice. Or do you prefer them playing at the top level on a regular basis, coming in, prepared from a match scenario? We're getting a lot of players that I believe are in a good space, in a good period, even in their leagues in Europe. And I think that our preparation has been the best that we can be. We've done a lot, even in the backroom sort of staff. The staff have been fantastic in terms of even the medical updates, even the sports science updates, where I think we're over-prepared, would you say, from a tactical perspective to look at all scenarios. So we've done what I think is we've covered all the bases in the preparation that we've had. So it's one of those. Bring them into camp early, or do you prefer them playing at the top level?
You mentioned Mary before, just how she's spoken, want a little bit more time. What's just her mindset been through this whole ordeal, and how do you think she'll come back?
Her mindset's been really mature, really focused on the importance of where she's at in her career, but more importantly, how she now wants to see this next phase of her career. And she's been brilliant. She's done everything in a professional manner, in a mature manner. And even just to take a little bit, even to say to the staff and to the city staff and to us to say, look, I just want a little bit more time. I just want to get it right. I think shows a lot of maturity. So she's coming in really excited. She was really happy when I called her to announce that she was in the squad. But I'm really excited to be working with her.
Just a home tournament. For you, more excitement or pressure?
What are they calling me now? NPJ, No Pressure Joe, something like that, is it? Is that what they're calling me now? Look, this is what we do it for. We do it for the pressure. We do it for these events. I just got goosebumps thinking about it. I remember when the job was offered to me, I said, wow, I get to do the first tournament in Australia at a major tournament with this amazing national team, in my home country. So it's exciting. I'm just going to enjoy every moment.
Joe, the first game against the Philippines, what are you expecting from them? And are you looking to kind of set a tone for the Matildas for the tournament?
Yeah, absolutely. Setting a tone, but it's important we set the tone in the way we want to set it in terms of our football, in terms of sending the right messages, in terms of that we want to dominate games and we want to be in charge of our destiny, and that's really, really important. We've looked at the Philippines, a tricky side, a tricky team. They have quality. They'll be well organised. And as I said, when you have a lot of the ball, when you dominate a lot of games in terms of with the ball, it's those one or two moments that you lose the ball in transition, and then all of a sudden something happens. So we need to be super prepared from a football perspective, because we know the occasion is going to be a big occasion, the opening game and the home tournament. So we do want to set the tone.
That opening game, Joe, is just 11 days away. What does that period look like now? You've got the squad set, the players are set to arrive in Australia over the coming days. What does preparation look like with that game on the horizon?
Yeah, look, we're all going into Perth this afternoon as a staff, so we'll do a couple of days of just tidying up a few scenarios. But now it's just about making sure that they finish all their games on the weekend, the players. So that's the biggest thing, and and getting them ready for travel and making sure that they're fresh for our first session during the week. But for us, it's just making sure that the health and well-being of the players is paramount, and we're all ready. So yeah, I mean, our preparation, as I said, started a long time ago, but now it's about bringing it all together and making sure that we're healthy. And obviously the jet lag scenario is going to be one, so we need to get players over jet lag as quick as we can.
Hi, Joe. There's multiple Australian coaches in this tournament, yourself, but obviously with some other teams as well, both head coaches, assistant coaches. What does that say about the quality of Australian coaches and the system that they've all sort of come through?
We have a work ethic in football that I think has no comparison overseas in what I've experienced. We have challenges as coaches who are developing as coaches or going through the system. We have good things, we have bad things, but in the end, we develop probably some of the most resilient, knowledgeable coaches in the world, and I say that, and I can probably use a little bit of experience from overseas. They work hard, they're curious, they want to learn, and I think that shows, and that's why we have a lot of good people around the world, and as you said, not just coaches, good operators in terms of admin, in terms of other areas, the sports science, the medical areas, and that's because of our work ethic and our curiosity to be better and want to be better, and I hope that we acknowledge that, and I hope that we give them the credit that they deserve, because I know the journey, I know it's difficult, and there's nothing to compare, our resilience and our work ethic.